students run this drill. She'll have her ass handed to her because some kid goes home and complains. The next thing you know, the district has a lawsuit.
Remember, we want you to be an activist. And don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley. Yeah,
You
well,
know
I'm
what I'm
just
saying?
saying, I'm
So
sure a lot of the, because like I say, the chick I know said that they made her school do it. She teaches elementary school teacher, and I'm sure that they did similar things across the state. But you know what I'm saying is this is causing terror. You know what I mean? Traumatizing to the children. All the other kids in all the other little schools that didn't have anything to do with this shooting, you know, on high alert, and you
you
know,
know what, bro? You would think that. You would definitely think that from the outside looking in. But these kids in this society is so untapped from reality and human life, dude. Like there was kids getting in trouble for mocking this shit. You know, like in our district, kids that showing the videos and they're making memes out of this shit. You feel me? Like so, you know,
but that
this
could be
this
a
society, this
that could be an
society.
example of trauma, bro. You know, like I say, the opposite is the internet. And it's like maybe when you're going through a traumatic experience or traumatic time, you mock it to what do we do as black people whenever something really, really terrible happens? What do we do? We laugh, right? Is it true or not? Really horrible thing happens.
That's some dark shit to laugh. Cause I can't laugh. That hit too close to home for me. Like for me, if I caught somebody making a mockery of that shit, mocking it, like I would be highly offended and pissed. Like, I probably would lose my job if I worked at the school. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, but what
So
I'm
for
saying is if
me,
you're
I'm just looking at it from the way I was brought up. I didn't come up with everything, but there was good values instilled in me, and you don't make fun of that type of shit, bro. Like I'm not even finna give these kids a pass on that.
no, no, no. I'm
You,
saying if
you know
something
what
happens
I'm
to you directly and it's really horrible, a lot of times we laugh. It's one of our defense mechanisms or whatever. It's like what do they say?
Yeah,
Like when you're in an uncomfortable situation, when you
Yeah,
put
I
in,
mean,
you
I get it
laugh.
from that point of view. Yeah, I get it from that. I get it
and,
from
and,
that point of
and,
view.
and some people have it even worse. Like they like go into full fledged, like hardcore laughing
Yeah,
because of how scared they really are.
yeah. My
Like
son does that when he gets in trouble. Like if we have to get on to him, and like if we
Fucking
have to
green
get on to
screen.
him, like he'll laugh. And literally we like my wife, like she was talking to some people about it, counselors and stuff, and so it's his defense mechanism. It's
yeah,
because
it's actually kind
he's
of normal.
embarrassed. His anxiety levels are
Yeah,
heightened at that point. So that's just kind of like his way of, yeah. So it happens. I mean, I get where you coming from, but it's just I don't know, bro. I guess because we didn't, I didn't see that in. Well, we didn't have. I think the first school shooting happened. I think I was already at high school at that point, and that was the one in Colorado. You
what
know,
about Waco?
Can I get
uh,
this fucking screen working right?
Waco. When did the one at Waco happen?
That was in the late '80s, early '90s. I forget
Oh shit!
exactly.
Well, I was born '86, so I was probably too young to even remember that one.
Yeah, I forget exactly what year, but I know that was um. Well, I don't know. That might have been after. That might have been mid '90s or something. That might have been after I graduated. But
Uh, and then that's just like we had one a couple of years ago by us down there in Santa Fe. The shooting that happened in Santa Fe with the high school kid, and they're saying that he's too incompetent to stand trial. They're basically, giving him an insanity plea. It's just
Let me read this. It says Texas officers admit police took their own children out, Robb Elementary School during the shooting. and left the other children inside to die, then waited 91 minutes after murders to stop shooter. This is heartbreaking. Cops pointing guns at a detained parents outside as parents heard their children screams and lose their lives. There was at least 40 lawmen, didn't do a damn thing. Jacinto Cazares, father of 10-year-old shooting victim.
That's the part that I'm hearing. Yeah, that's like it was a
Yeah,
whole
see,
community
this is the first
upset.
time I've ever heard of this.
Yeah, the whole
Wow,
community
dude,
is
that is
upset with the
ridiculous.
police force because, they didn't, it wasn't about the community. It was about self. It was individualism. It was, let me save my own,
But I think
and
that what Deuce said earlier is probably true on this one.
what?
For one, the people having a bad view of what actually happened, you know, damn it, I lost it. But I don't, oh, he said that, it's one of those stories that they use to just distract you from the point of what's actually happening or whatever. Just like a
No, no,
detour.
no,
I
no.
think this might be one of those stories. So
I
I don't
don't
want
think
to
so.
jump. I don't want to
No,
jump too fast on that.
I think the people that has legitimate cause that, I mean, especially like just think about the trauma that these people are going through.
Yeah,
That's hearing the screams of children, not knowing if it was their children or not, and
yeah,
seeing police officers, you know, that's supposed to be there to,
protect.
try to resolve this whole situation to, because maybe if they hadn't waited 45 minutes, maybe it would only be five
That's what my wife
people.
was talking about. That they were talking about the officers are making excuses now for the reason as to why they took so long to respond back to the shooter. Okay.
Doc
Yes,
says,
sir.
I mean, not Doc, this is Curtis. He says, always find the worst parts. I laugh at a lot of bad stuff, LOL. And he says, not those shootings, though. You know, we've been traumatized, and that's just psychology. So what I was saying in the defense of those kids who were like making fun of it, that necessarily that could be a symptom of being trauma, being in a state of trauma.
Hmm.
Let me
Yeah,
play this.
it's
Oh,
true. Bro.
Let me play this.
the influence of any group,
We're going to be here all night.
the influence of these groups comes not from money.
Against it and prefer money. So, Senator Rubio, can you tell me right now that you will not accept a single donation from the NRA in the future? I wish I could have spoken. I wish I could have asked the NRA lady a question. I wish the NRA lady I could have talked to, because I would ask her how she can look in the mirror, considering the fact that she has children, but maybe she avoids
What was
those.
that? I'm sorry.
I don't freaking know.
That's okay. The question is about NRA money. So, number one, the positions I hold on these issues of the Second Amendment, I've held since the day I entered office in the city of West Miami as an elected official. Number two, no, the answer to the question is that people buy into my agenda.
What?
And I do support the Second Amendment. And I also support the right of you and everyone here to be able to go to school and be safe. And I do support any law that would keep guns out of the hands of a deranged killer. And that's why I support the things that I have stood for and fought for during my time
More
there.
NRA money? More NRA money?
That is the wrong way to look. First of all, the answer is people buy
really
into my
is.
agenda.
You could say
Number
no.
second, well,
Guys,
the influence of any
Come on, we're
group,
going to be here all night.
the influence of these groups comes not from money.
Against it.
Okay, so I never liked Marco Rubio. He's kind of like Ted Cruz. Anyways, I don't like this guy. He's an empty suit as fuck. And you could tell he doesn't stand on nothing. So anyways, what do y'all think about this? The kid was asking him straight up, I mean, hey, since the shooting and all of this, are you going to just stop taking money from NRA people? And he wiggling around the answer like, it's not about the money, da-da-da-da-da. They're having a NRA conference is coming up very soon, and it's
In
getting
Houston.
political. because of this, and they're like, these people shouldn't go to these events. I think
But
if I was
but,
NRA, I would just push the date back a couple weeks till
but let
everybody
me
calm down.
let me ask this because I'm trying to understand like what does the NRA have to do with some guy that's whatever his issue is that to decide to go shoot up a school? What does the NRA have to do with this? Are they the ones giving them the guns, or are they the ones that make the policies on? Because I know, like, I'm sure
They
they have a lot of directive in what they like to see or not see through in
No,
policy.
no, no,
But
no, no. You don't understand the power of the lobbyists. You don't understand the power of the campaign
don't tell me
contributions.
I don't understand something because
What,
I'm trying to get an answer from you. What is it that because I understand that the NRA spends bunch of money on both sides of the aisle,
they do,
Democrats and Republicans.
both
So
sides.
yes. So my thing is, how does not receiving a donation from the NRA change school shootings?
And, well, it may not affect school shootings, but it can affect policy, because that's the reason why you spend money like that. Why would the NRA give all these monies to people, empty suits like Marco Rubio? Fuck that dude. But the reason why they give him money is because it advances their agendas. You're not gonna spend money for nothing just because you got a political, like, oh, I want Marco Rubio I like Marco Rubio. I'm gonna give him $1 million for his campaign. No, like the dumbass people do that's regular folks. I'm gonna give them all my money, and then they don't make it, and they go home and buy a house or some shit. But what I'm
But
saying is these corporations are not
man, but
stupid.
I'm just saying, I feel like all this shit is happening. I feel like all this shit is happening, bro, because it's there to push an agenda. And at this point, for them to get their agenda pushed, they realize they don't care. Casualties are
Well,
gonna happen,
well,
because it's so funny how every time it gets around this time, there's some type of mass shooting. There's this, there's that,
and
to try to
and,
push
and,
these these
and both
these certain
sides can be true,
politicians'
because I think you're
agenda.
100% right, Deuce. It's
It
totally
has nothing to
political.
do with guns, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
guns don't kill people, bro. It's the fact of the argument that you argue in here every fucking week, that people don't care about mental health. They don't believe in putting in policies in place until something happens. You know what I'm
well.
saying?
I mean,
Something
but
catastrophic.
something has happened for the last 3 decades.
I'm
Like
saying
these
the
shootings
po-
has
the
periodically happened over time. That okay, is it something that needs to continue to be worked on? I mean, no
well
doubt.
the po-
I mean, there's no question about that.
Pat, you're
But
right.
Well,
my
The political will is there, Deuce. The political will is there. But look, this goes back to what I'm saying about the campaign contributions and the way the policies get written. Because sometimes they have good intentions. The politician has great intentions, but once the legislation actually gets written and once it actually becomes law, it has been gutted and there's loopholes and it's twisted to benefit whoever the hell fucking wrote that shit. You get
well,
but
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
my thing
my,
is,
my we
disarming
talk about the
people. How does that
NRA
help?
when we see because see the whole thing is why didn't I say anything about Lockheed Martin? This is
I agree.
Smith and Wesson or
I
like
agree
gun like why is it the NRA that gets picked on?
because it's political, and y'all right about that. It's totally, completely political. But the question that kid had in here to Marco Rubio was valid. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
It
It
was no,
was.
but no. That it's a kid asking a question that thinks that what they're saying has relevance, but it really doesn't because it doesn't hit the key points of what's really happening in our society. We
Well,
have
what's really happening is the political atmosphere is polluted with campaign donations and lobbyists, and it's all about money. And the person who has the most money, there's no real democracy. Money carries the vote.
we've never had a real democracy. That's what like ever since all of these things that people like That, what is a real democracy? I mean, we can go down that road, but I mean, however, like when it comes down to certain situations, like my thing
This is what
is
they call in
you,
democracy. It's fucking not what this party is doing to doing to us
the
right now.
Democrats.
This is not, yeah. The
Yeah,
Democrats is doing us. This is not democracy. If you
But
ask me, I think democracy was more so when Trump was in office, the way that we were truly
no,
building back
the
America,
the
the
the,
way
the,
that jobs were,
the campaign
unemployment was at an
donation shit was
all-time
still out of
high.
control. The lobbyist shit is still
Yeah,
out of control.
it
Y'all,
still
you
was, but
can't
people
pick a
were coming
side.
back, bro.
you said
People
it's
were
out,
coming back. People were coming. Small businesses were
but
flourishing.
see,
Pat, am I right or wrong? Did you
but
flourish or not under Trump?
I did.
Okay, okay.
I know I
This is
did.
this is
I
this is
did
a
great,
complete dude. This is a complete shame. This is shameful what's
and I'm
happening to
hurt,
us
and I'm
as
hurting,
citizens, bro.
and I am hurting underneath the Democrats.
Well,
This is complete. This is fucked up what they're doing to us, bro. You know, Trump gets out of office. Immediately the pipeline gets shut.
you're breaking up. We lost you.
Well, I'm gonna say this because I really feel that
Limited
some of
quantity
the
that you
thoughts
can
that
buy. Yeah, you can get WIC for your kids, but guess what? There's no baby formula. Like, dog, all of this shit is fucking political, bro. There's no
which
democracy.
might be a blessing. So, bro, which it might be a blessing that the baby formula is running out. Like, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, we can have that. That's a whole nother conversation. But my whole thing is that you know the fact that we have guns does doesn't mean that that's why kids are getting shot.
Well, look, That's a great segue into a clip because I have a video that talks about how many school shootings and whatnot happens
But
around
if
the
they
world
dis, but if they
compared to the United
disarm,
States.
but this is the point that I want to make. Okay, let's just say they disarm every American, right? Mass shootings are still gonna happen. Look at over in Australia. Look at over in fucking France. The shit that happened, And if they can't shoot you, what do? They bomb shit, like they did over in France a few years ago. Killed all of those people. You know what I'm saying? So it's violence is still gonna happen, and I feel like disarming people, stripping people of their sense of safety to bear arm and protect themselves is not the fucking answer, dude.
And usually that and a lot of these types of things usually happens when Democrats are in office because they're the ones that promote this whole idea of taking or they claim to making some kind of legislation, but ultimately they prefer that the people don't have guns, just like in European countries and a lot of I think most European countries they can't have guns, but that's you know they want us to be more like that. But to me, I don't think that that's necessarily the smartest thing because what safety, like what how are you able to protect your own family when you know shoot we already see how hostile our own uh politics can get, whether Democrat, whatever fallout we end up having, you know, how do we protect ourselves?
Well, I'm gonna start off answering your question with this guy, the Rational National, the Canadian dude. So we're gonna hear about how Canada and the UK.
Oh,
So we're
them
gonna go all,
motherfuckers.
yeah, we're gonna go all the way left right here. But
Canada, they don't want you to have shit. Do you?
we
They
we
even took menthol cigarettes out of their country because they don't want you to smoke. Like what
yeah,
the? Ah,
they
man,
got
fuck
they
Canada.
got some
Now,
really
menthols. If they got regular cigarettes, I mean that's fine. Menthol cigarettes all fucked up.
yeah, fuck the menthol cigarettes anyways. And that's really cool how they put the heart on the fucking cigarettes. And I smoke. But I don't know, man, if looking at that heart all the time might actually fucking work. I don't know. That shit is fucking horrible. And then the price too. They tax the shit out of cigarettes up there. So, anyways, I'm gonna go all the way left with him. So it's gonna be like Canada and the
Do
UK
you have
kind of.
anything to balance it off?
I do. That's why I'm gonna say it. Well, I'm gonna go not all the way to the right, but I'm gonna go with something a little more in the center. It's gonna be Al Jazeera.
Mm.
Yeah, Al Jazeera. So we're gonna play this one first.
Oh, really? That's okay. Well, let's
Yeah,
see.
that's yeah. Check it out.
Can't answer that.
Al Jazeera did a good job. Like they were really balanced.
Can you say you can't answer that? Why?
Republican Senator Ted Cruz ran from a British reporter after Cruz did not know how to answer a question about the recent massacre in Uvalde, Texas. So this is going to be reporter Mark Stone of Sky News. And later on, I'm going to show you a parent of a victim of Parkland and their experience with Ted Cruz. And then also I'll get to Ted Cruz's insane excuse for why this happened and what he thinks needs to be done. But first, here is Ted Cruz being a coward.
There are 19 sets of parents who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight again.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
It's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people,
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
if you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world just, they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's
God,
honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
It is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of
You know what?
mass shooting?
But you
This
can't answer
kind
that.
of
You can't answer that,
politicization.
can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why
You know,
is this
Why
country?
is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest
So why
country
are
on
It
we
may
earth.
be
dying
the,
in
And
it may
stop
be the
being a
freest, it may be the most
Why are our
popular.
kids dying in
Amazing. Amazing. The safest country on earth, he said.
Before he comments, what y'all got?
Well, you know, I think that it is very politicized. I mean, I don't think that, you know, they do have any real solutions that will fix it. Even I mean, because I mean, you're not gonna go door to door taking people's guns, you know, because that's gonna start a war by itself. And then, like, you know, moving forward, it's just like, okay, you can't, you know, like, I don't think you. I mean, I don't really like. Is there an answer? Because I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm not giving up my gun.
That feels good. All right, I'm gonna play some more.
I'm just
Says. Yeah, maybe if you're a senator who can pay for a security detail to whisk you away when you get a hard question. But for the vast majority of people, I don't think it's the safest country on earth. Now, I'm going to get to, as I said, a clip of someone's experience dealing with Ted Cruz, a Parkland parent that was a parent of a victim, and then Ted Cruz's insane reasoning for why this happened. But first, just a couple comments on what he said there. So his initial response to this question is, it's easy to go to politics. I mean, you see him start with this performance about, oh, he feels so bad. Feels so bad for the families.
well,
And then when he's asked an actual question, oh, it's easy to go to politics, you know. What are you talking about?
Go ahead, Pat.
well, you know, you know, I guess that, like, because it's a somewhat of a wide thought, but my thing is that because of the propaganda that, you know, because it's not so much the guns, it's more so the thought processes that they allow to linger within this country. Because, like, I mean, you know, maybe there's some hatred, you know, for, you know, like, because I mean, the whole racialized thing, you know, like they have websites where people actually do wide open planning or like things against, you know, other groups, you know, like when they have these panels where people can go and have these hate speeches, talks, and things like that, it fuels the fire to people where if they didn't, I think if these things were not allowed for people to, you know, to spew their hate about stupid stuff, then, you know, maybe things like this wouldn't happen. You know, and if it did, it wouldn't happen so much because I mean, you know, like who gets attacked the most? It looks like black people and kids because it's, you know, either the white supremacists trying to kill off black people and some raving lunatic that decides that they want to shoot up a school.
Yeah. Let me play some more.
That's what this issue is. So if you're fighting for the status quo or fighting for less gun regulation, then you are also doing politics. Any position you take on this issue is politics. Just because you don't want to improve things doesn't mean that you aren't also being political. This issue is political. There is a reason why this happens a lot more in the US compared to other countries. It's not because of randomness, not because of chance. It's because of the laws that exist. This issue is inherently political. So you being against any change at all is also a political position. Now, before I get to this comparison or some comparisons here to other countries, I want to first, also worth mentioning, this clip is going viral now. This is getting a lot of views, and it's just reporting. Like, it really shows you how awful American mainstream press is when it takes somebody from the UK to ask a question that is just normal, just a normal good question, but they aren't used to this, so they run away. I mean, that's how bad the media is when they're actually asked a real question, they have no idea how to answer it because they aren't used to it. So this should not be going viral. This should be normal, but unfortunately, this kind of reporting is not normal. But I got to show you this. So
I
Trump,
agree with that.
Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott still are set to speak at the NRA meeting in Houston, just days after this mass tragedy. And
How random is that the meeting is in Houston? Well, to me, that I said it's just, I don't know. It's probably not a thing, but being that I'm in Houston, it's just whatever.
They
I
realize
understand that the
how
media,
dangerous.
No, the NRA meeting that's coming up is coming up, and it's going to be in Houston.
come on, in the heart of Texas. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, I guess not. It's just for me because I'm from here. It's just kind of whatever.
Weapons are. Guns are banned during Trump's upcoming speech at the NRA conference. Now, this is because Secret Service is banning it. They understand, you know, how dangerous weapons are. But still, it shows you this amazing disconnect when here they are, this conference to celebrate guns and do whatever they can to take away any regulations, any protections at all for people. Yet, at their own conference, guns have to be banned during Trump's speech because of how dangerous they are. Now, in terms of comparisons here, so I have a few graphs, a few charts to show. Top 10 civilian gun-owning countries, estimated number of firearms per 100 residents. So you see here, of course, way more guns per 100 people compared to other countries, not even close. This data here from CNN, you can see, again, the US, how it compares to other countries, not even close. And to be clear, I used this stat in my first video on this story as well, but it was mislabeled at the time when I used it, so it appeared to be a different time frame. This time frame is what it actually is, so this is from 2009 to 2018. So you can actually add a lot more to this list if you include, you know, the past few years as well. Now, also this, how Americans feel about U.S. gun laws. So you can see over time, the majority of people want to see gun laws that are more strict compared to kept as now or less strict. Now, let me get to this parent of a Parkland victim. So after what happened in Parkland, this parent talked to Ted Cruz, and here's his experience with the senator.
You mentioned Ted Cruz honestly making of himself. I'm sorry. He put out a tweet saying how sorry he is, how he sends his thoughts. I sat with him in his office 3 years ago, and I begged that in person. I begged him. And no, he won't change because he is evil. But I begged him to do something different, to be different. And he went forward from that over the next few years, and he mocked the idea of doing anything to reduce gun violence. This is on Ted Cruz.
Anyone that has covered or has followed Ted Cruz, this should not be surprising at all. Ted Cruz carries himself as a sociopath. He's a actor. I mean, you can tell he's not a good actor because you can tell he's acting, but he puts on these performances. He's very grandiose. He's just a completely disgusting person. It doesn't matter who he talks to. It doesn't matter what information he may learn. This is stuff he already knows. And he knows his role. His role is to be a tool for wealthy interests that have no attachment to the lives of the working class.
I should have
He
skipped
does
that
not
part.
care at all.
He's
what
about to get
happens
to the
anybody.
Ted Cruz
All
clip,
he cares
though.
about is his own career. Now, let me get to the last clip here. This is Ted Cruz on Fox News after this massacre, discussing what he thinks the problem is and what inherently the solution for him is.
And one of the things that everyone agreed is don't have all of these unlocked back doors. Have one door into and out of the school, and have that one door armed police officers at that door. If that had happened, if those federal grants had gone to this school, when that psychopath arrived, the armed police officers could have taken him out, and we'd have 19 children and 2 teachers still alive.
Of course, that's the problem. Too many doors. Not too many guns, too many doors. Not the fact that an 18-year-old can buy 2 rifles on his birthday and 375 rounds of ammunition. No, not the problem. The problem is too many doors. You have one door so that when there's a fire at the school, everybody has to get out the one door before they die.
Right,
Have you
so
thought this through?
So
Go ahead.
what is the solution? Wait till they're older, or like, I mean, as far as, because I mean, like I said, we are like, for any of these people to assume that guns are going to get taken away or not going to be sold, like, I mean, you got to think outside of that paradigm now. Like, that's not going to happen. So, like, what are your, you know, if you think that there's some solution, let's come up with it. Let's hear it, because I mean, talking, you know, you're gonna not let 18-year-olds buy guns now. They got to be what, 35 now, or what? Like, I mean,
I think we talked about solutions really good in that, and I made clips of those videos too. They were pretty good when we talked about it, about community and supporting each other, you know, taking your mom to the grocery store kind of shit. Because that's besides policy, regardless of what the policy is, you know what I mean? Having an excuse to be there for your grandma or your mom or whoever, that's a good thing. So,
and that's more on our community side. But I mean, we're talking about legislation where they're looking at these people to, you know, come up with some type of law, some amendment, or, you know, what you know, some form of action that's got to be taken to make things harder for people that will, you know, that are prone to shoot up schools or to shoot up people in the supermarket, whatever the case is. Like, what?
I think Abbott made a good suggestion that wasn't related to taking guns. He was talking about mental health. And I want to see him put his money where his mouth is. So, because if you really feel like mental health can help with school shootings, then you should throw a whole bunch of fucking money at that. Deuce, what do you think about the doors? Because they mentioned the doors just now in this clip about, you know, the doors being locked and the fire. What about a fire?
For the most part, that's already done.
For the most part, yeah. But my thing is, see, this is what people have to understand. When school doors are locked, that just keeps somebody from coming in. You can still exit those school doors if they're locked. You can still exit. They have the big side push bar that's on the front of the door. You know, keeping them locked from people being able to just exit a side door of the school would be key. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really know. I know that this guy came in through a side door of the school. It could have been a side door that leads out to the recess area. You know,
Yeah,
those doors are usually
and
unlocked.
they don't know.
You
Yeah,
know, so
and it's so
because he
random that the
crashed.
guy, if he's out there, they're not gonna really be paying attention because they're so used to going out of those doors without any issue.
But what I was
So
saying
Yeah,
was it could have been him going, you know, he could have went in the exit door when somebody was coming out or whatever.
yeah, that's
yeah.
probably what happened. Yeah, that's what he was
It could.
saying. That
Yeah, because I think he shot a teacher up on entering the classroom or the door where he came in at, or shot at someone. I'm not sure. I don't really know. I didn't really hear the whole story, the whole narrative to the story of what really took place. So I don't want to sound ignorant, you know, but I don't really have the solution. You know, I mean, this has to be sat down and well thought out, bro. You know, because just stripping people of guns is not the solution. Disarming people is not the solution. You know, it's clearly an issue. You know, like they were saying, mental health. You know, this kid was clearly insane. You know what I'm saying? He was clearly insane. He was clearly somebody that was socially awkward. You know, he wasn't talking to any girl from, you know, locally. He was talking to a girl abroad in Germany. You know, let's start asking his teachers and people like, how was this kid at school? You know, was he a popular kid? Was he somebody that talked? Did he have a certain group of friends he hung out with? Because from my point of view, everything that I've heard, he clearly seems like he was socially awkward. He was, you know, somebody that didn't really have many friends, or if any friends at all. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, what these people are pushing, and I understood exactly what Ted Cruz was saying, that it's easy to go political, you know, because
yeah, I
that's what
mean about the
happened.
guns. Yeah,
Anytime something massive like this happens, that's immediately what the media and the people that's trying to push the gun control narrative are disarming Americans. That's immediately what they go to. You know
yeah,
what I'm
and
saying? And
by
it's like a
now the
criminal.
world should
Uh,
know that that's not gonna happen.
yeah,
Mm.
So you come up with
you
some
know.
new solutions. Stop trying to put that same
And
bull
then for
crap.
them to and then for them to say, why is this only a problem in America? Well, how do we know that this is only a problem in America? Because there's
I
people
mean, we
that's shot and killed, you know, every day in other countries. You know, we just don't hear about it. It's not reported on. You know what I'm saying? There's probably mass shootings in other countries, yeah, you know, all the time that's not reported on. You know, the narrative is America, disarming America, and that's what they want.
Yeah, but I think when he's saying other countries, he's talking about like European countries because they're always you know it's weird how their worldview is so limited. You know, they feel like they're
Yeah,
so
well, they're
global
very
thinking.
they well because yeah, and,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
leaving out a lot of countries when they say, you know, because
yeah,
they're just thinking of those European, what they consider civilized, in quotation marks. Let me play
yeah,
some more.
He said one door in and out. Even in his example here, this makes no sense because the shooter was confronted by law enforcement before entering the school. So, one door, 10 doors, what the hell is the difference? He was confronted and was still able to get inside. And by the way, there's more to this story. So I will likely do a different video on this aspect of it, as right now there's a lot of reporting coming out saying that parents, and video, by the way, that parents were outside screaming, crying, yelling at police to go inside and do something for 40 minutes as they sat there and waited because they were too afraid to go inside and confront the shooter. They were waiting for the tactical squad to go in there. Apparently, 40% of the city's budget goes to policing. Can you imagine firefighters showing up to a burning school and, oh, we can't risk our lives. Gotta wait. Wait this one out. Gotta wait for the special firefighters to arrive and go in there. This is your fucking job. If you can't do it, don't do the job.
He never curses.
So I'll have more on this because this is insane what happened there, and there's video, and it's just completely ridiculous.
That shit
But
there
so is
could have
Ted
been
Cruz.
a political ploy.
A
The cops not responding could have been a political ploy. Just like they probably were told not to go in because they want, like I say, bro, I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. And I probably sound real ignorant, but that's just how my brain thinks. This could have been a total political ploy for something like this to happen, and the cops were probably told not to go in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense unless these cops are just not trained to handle something like this.
News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
So I really enjoyed seeing you be confident in your perspective. And I think that you have a lot to say, especially when I saw a lot about social issues and politics. And I will be honest, like I'm not as well versed as I probably should be. But I really appreciated being able to learn from your content. I think a lot of people and also have a different perspective. So I think a lot of people, it's kind of like an echo chamber. They like what they like hearing, what they like hearing. And so I'm very much a person where I love seeing both sides. I love getting different perspectives. I love getting different opinions. So I really enjoy being able to learn things from you.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do?
We want you to be an activist. And don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.